Well, good afternoon. Effective immediately, Ontario is declaring a state of emergency. We expect this to remain in place for at least 28 days. Further, I'm issuing a stay-at-home order effective Thursday at 12:01 a.m. Under this order, everyone must stay home and only go out for essential trips to pick up groceries or go to medical appointments. Based on the advice from the Chief Medical Officer of Health, schools in Windsor-Essex, Peel, Toronto, York, and Hamilton will remain closed for in-person learning until February the 10th. By January 20th, the Chief Medical Officer of Health will provide recommendations for the remaining regions. As I've said from the beginning, when it comes to our children, I will not take any unnecessary risks. Folks, there will be soon some really dark days ahead, some turbulent waters, but we will get through this. The Ontario spirit has lifted us through worse. The people of Ontario have battled through worse. I know this time will be no different. No more than ever, I need you to do your part. Stay home, save lives, protect our healthcare system. The system is on the brink of collapse. It's on the brink of being overwhelmed. We're at levels we've never seen before. Last week I stood here and I told you that our province is in crisis, and the facts are clear. Cases and deaths are at the highest levels since the start of the pandemic, and community spread continues to escalate. The dangerous and very dangerous UK strain of COVID is being found across the province. Ontario had 8 new cases confirmed today. And if we don't move fast, our hospital ICUs could be overwhelmed by the first week of February. I know everyone is tired. I know everyone is sick of COVID, including myself. I know everyone wants to return to normal. New reports and data show 1/3 of Ontarians are not following public health guidelines. Many are traveling and gathering. And now, let me be clear. I'm not blaming anyone. Only one thing is truly at fault, and that's the virus. It just takes a moment. If you let your guard down, it can strike. Think of the teenager out with their friends, not wearing their mask. They go home, pass it to their parents. Later that day at dinner, the virus passes from parents to grandparents. Within days, the grandparent is in the ICU and tragically passes. This is a story we're hearing too many times. Stories like this are why we need to stay home, save lives. My friends, I know the stay-at-home order is a drastic measure, one we don't take lightly. Everyone must stay home to save lives. I couldn't be any clearer. Enforcement and inspections will increase. Provincial and local police, bylaw officers, workplace inspectors will enforce these new measures. Under the declaration, they will have powers to disperse people and to issue tickets to bad actors. Bad actors who are caught, they will get fined. And I want to take a moment to address the situation in big box stores. I've seen the crazy lineups. We need more enforcement at these stores. So we'll be starting an inspection blitz of big box stores in the coming days. And I promise you, if we find any issues, there'll be consequences. We'll come down hard on these big box stores if we have to. And this enforcement, it will continue for as long as necessary. But ultimately, from day one, we've been counting on people to do the right thing. The success of these measures will ultimately depend on you. It will depend on each one of you, because without all of us, rowing in the same direction, this thing could get much worse. Just look at what's happening in countries where the UK variant has taken hold. It's a total disaster. And we've been told by officials it's not a matter of if this new strain takes hold, it's a matter of when it takes hold and how wide it spreads. My friends, this situation is extremely serious. I just can't stress this enough. But unlike back in March, today we have the vaccine. It's on the horizon. We have hope on the horizon. It's in sight, it's within reach, but we need to give that vaccine the runway it needs. We need to get through the next few months because the vaccine rollout is tied to supply. And based on the current delivery schedule from the federal government, we're still months away from the millions of doses we need to start getting critical mass of people vaccinated. I'm working with the feds. We will do everything we can to help them speed this up. But until then, we're vulnerable. Our hospitals are vulnerable. Our communities are vulnerable. My friends, I know the actions we've announced today are difficult, but they're absolutely necessary. And as your government, we will be there to support people and businesses through these tough times. We have the 24/7 off-peak electricity rate in place. We're providing $200 per child for the parents. We've worked with our federal partners to put in place the new CERB program to help families and workers, the wage subsidy and rent relief programs to help businesses get through these tough times. We have the new Ontario Small Business Support Grant, up to $20,000 to help owners with their costs. And we're also suspending the enforcement of residential evictions so people can stay home safely. As everyone stays home, we're doing everything we can to fight this virus. As Minister Elliott will share in a moment, we're ramping up testing in priority sectors of the economy. And we have a robust strategy for tackling COVID in high priority communities. My friends, the people of Ontario, we're strong, we are resilient. I've seen how tough we can be through the first wave and beyond. And as I've said before, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And we have the toughest people in the world right here in Ontario. My friends, stay home, stay safe, save lives. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll pass it over to Minister Elliott.
Thank you, Premier. The measures we are introducing today are absolutely necessary to save and protect the lives of Ontarians. This is not the first wave. Now community transmission is widespread. It's in our hospitals, it's in our long-term care homes, and it's in our workplaces. The number of cases and the number of deaths due to COVID-19 are at the highest levels since the start of the pandemic a year ago. And in a few short weeks, our hospital and ICU capacity could be overwhelmed. Yesterday, 41 Ontarians died from COVID-19. It's been an extremely tragic year. Over 5,000 Ontarians have lost their lives to COVID-19 since this pandemic began. These are not just numbers or statistics. These were brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, and grandparents. These were people with families, friends, and loved ones. And we send our deepest condolences to all those who have lost a loved one to COVID-19. This virus is having real impacts on families, on our businesses, and on our communities. That is why we are introducing additional public health restrictions to strengthen our province-wide shutdown measures. As you heard from Dr. Brown this morning through his modeling update, we must change our mobility patterns. Too many people are having too many contacts. Increased contacts result from increased mobility. So to break this cycle, you must stay home as much as possible. And that starts with a stay-at-home order. As part of the stay-at-home order, We are asking businesses to ensure that any employee who can work from home does work from home. All non-essential construction will be closed. All non-essential retail stores will be required to close by 8 p.m., with the exception of grocery stores, convenience stores, pharmacies, and restaurants providing takeout orders. Outdoor gatherings will be further restricted to 5 people. Wearing masks will be mandatory in all public places and should be worn outside as well when you can't keep 2 meters apart. School closures in Southern Ontario are being extended until January 25th and will be assessed on an ongoing basis by the Chief Medical Officer of Health. Schools in hotspots may not resume. We are also expanding rapid testing to help identify and isolate cases of COVID-19. We are doing this by providing 300,000 COVID-19 rapid tests per week to support key sectors such as manufacturing, warehousing, supply chain, and food processing, as well as additional tests for our schools and long-term care homes. We expect to receive nearly 12 million PanBio rapid tests from the federal government over the next several months, and we continue to pursue opportunities to purchase additional rapid tests. We also continue to implement our high priorities community strategy, and local lead agencies have begun to deliver key interventions in the province's hardest hit vulnerable neighborhoods. Together, these measures will help fight the spread of this deadly virus. We have made great strides in vaccinating tens of thousands of Ontarians, and we must continue to build on this progress. I am urging you to please follow public health advice and respect the new measures we are putting in place. We are counting on each of you to do the right thing and act responsibly so we break the deadly trend of transmission. Please be part of the solution. Stay home, stay safe, and save lives. Thank you. And now I'd like to pass it over to Minister Jones.
Thank you, Minister Elliott. As the Premier stated, declaring Ontario's second state of emergency in response to COVID-19 is not an action we take lightly. We are fighting the spread of a virus that has once again led us to the brink of a health crisis. This is an emergency, and we are treating it that way. We have been upfront about the severity of the threats we face if the numbers begin moving in the manner we have seen during these past days and weeks. We have said we would not hesitate to explore and exhaust all options necessary to protect Ontarians if the situation worsens, and it has. We are declaring this provincial emergency to allow for stronger measures to reduce the spread of COVID-19, and these measures will be enforced. A greater authority will be provided to enforcement personnel across Ontario to ensure restrictions and orders are followed. Additionally, if individuals, employees, and corporations in retail settings are found not complying with an order, enforcement personnel have the authority to issue a fine. All provincial offences officers also have the authority to disperse crowds indoors as well as outdoors. For example, when a group of more than 5 people from different households are gathering outdoors, they can be asked to leave. In addition, workplace inspections by Labour and provincial offences officers will be enhanced to increase compliance with public health measures. Let me be clear. If people are found not complying with these orders, they will be subject to fines and persecution. Penalties may include up to a year in jail. We are taking the current situation very seriously, and we ask that all Ontarians do the same. It is critical, now more than ever, that people adhere to the orders and follow public health measures. Please stay home, stay safe. Orders can only take us so far. Stopping the spread of COVID-19 can only be done if we all band together and make an extraordinary effort to protect the communities that our families and our friends call home. Thank you.